nephew. Oh hi, welcome to the year 2011 when this was still relevant. Good morning, it's Saturday and here we are, we're doing it. It was late last week, but not this week because I'm home and I'm going to be traveling again next weekend, so I guess we're just going to see what happens. We'll just play this by ear, but welcome back. This is week 3. I've got my Dunkin' coffee. Fun fact, if you live in Southern California, the day after the Anaheim Ducks, I'm sorry, I'm still like waking up. The day after the Anaheim Ducks win a game, they're a hockey team for those of you who don't do the sports. Dunkin' Donuts is 99-cent coffees if you pay with your registered Dunkin' Donuts card. So download the Dunkin' Donuts app and do it. Please tell them to sponsor me because Dunkin', I'm reaching out to you, okay? Help me, help you, help me. I'm cute, I love your coffee, I want to be your face. Let me be the face of Dunkin' Donuts. Me and Daddy Rob Gronkowski could get together and make some shit happen. So, I have this. I also realized it's incredibly rude of me not to tell you guys how I take my coffee, because if this is going to be a Saturday morning coffee talk show type chit chat, let's hang out session, you guys should know what I'm up to and what's in my cup. So, the base of this is a Dunkin' Donuts black iced coffee, and I brought it home. Today I used maple syrup, instead of my usual agave, for my little bit of sweet, and then Silk, the brand that does different soy milks and almond milks and non-dairy alternatives, also has a really great coffee creamer. And fun fact, again, I'm also getting over a cold, so I'm a little bit sick, and that's what this weird sort of phlegmy but almost normal voice is all about. This is just me. I'll remind you in case you forgot, this is what you signed up for, so when you click on my channel, this is what you're gonna get, just me, and this is where I'm at right now. I'm half sick, and that's just how we're doing it. So I'm sorry that I'm like sniffly and I sound a little bit weird, but that's just the situation I'm in this week. So back on track instead of going off on tangents. Silk has a great alternative creamer. It's a soy creamer, non-dairy. I don't know that it's certified vegan, don't quote me on that, but I try to stay away from dairy as much as possible. I don't really drink cow's milk anymore. It just is a personal choice I've made. I'm not saying you have to do that too, but it's just the way I do it. I've completely switched over to almond milk, and also now that I have this soy creamer, I think it's great. I used to drink, Trader Joe's also has an organic soy creamer for $1.49 a pint. But this Silk one is, I think you can get it on sale for anywhere from $3 and down. I usually bulk up on it when it's like $2 at Sprouts because that's my favorite grocery store. And so that is my go-to for creamer, and they now sell it at, I believe, Smith's in New Mexico if you're there, and that's where my sister, when I'm in town, gets it from. And there's now a Sprouts sort of close to where my parents live, so they can stock up there for me, so my pain in the assness isn't too big of a deal anymore when I go home to visit. So that's my go-to coffee. If I'm feeling really like ballsy, I'll go all black, which doesn't happen as much anymore. I don't know why. For a while I was really into just black iced coffee. Sasha. Sorry, the cat's just scratching away and ringing a little jingly bell like she owns the place. But yeah, so that's usually what I'll have in my coffee, whether it's hot or iced. In the fall, my favorite thing to do is get the pumpkin spice Dunkin' packaged coffee and have that with maple syrup and the Silk creamer. It just tastes like fall, and my inner white girl awakens and is just filled with joy because it means that pumpkin season is here. But now we're getting into spring, and so I'm swaying more towards just either black iced coffee or just the agave and the Silk creamer. So this is also going to be a true mukbang because I have a half a bagel for my breakfast. I don't really like talking and eating. I think that's why I'm so bad at this. Also with like drinking coffee is because I don't want to be rude and just like cut myself off and mid-sentence like I am right now. So bear with me. I'm trying to find a rhythm and a way to talk, but also do this, and also just make sure I'm saying coherent sentences, because it seems to be a struggle sometimes, especially when I'm like, oh, I just woke up, let's just go ahead and do this. Anyway, so I was out of town last weekend, had a great visit. This week was a pretty solid week at work. I have one more week for where I'm currently, what I'm currently working on, and then I have another wedding to go to next weekend. So I'm just like constantly on the go, but that's really just been my life since college. I'm always traveling or going somewhere or doing something. So that's gonna be what's happening next week. Also to update you, because I was sick, I forced myself to work all week, and really I should have just taken a day off. It would have been completely fine. I could have made the day up. It would not have affected anything, but I am so stubborn that I did not let myself take any time off, because I in my head thought, okay, if I can just make it through this week, then I can sleep all weekend, reset my body, like I'll be fine. And I was miserable for so much of the time, but I was really pushing through and saying, you know what, like if I can do this, I can do anything, which probably isn't true, but in my head it completely made sense. And so I made it through the week. So I fell asleep just before 9 o'clock last night and woke up at about 7:30. So doing great with the sleeping game, and I have one more week to get through and make sure that we get everything finished up, which is exciting, but also I know it's just gonna be like a sprint to the end, and so that's where we're at with that. And so because I was sick and not thinking ahead, I didn't post anywhere for anyone to ask me any questions. So I'm sorry guys, but I got nothing. I have no questions to answer for this week. But now that I have the foresight to know that I'm going to be on the road next week, I think it'll be so much easier to have some content to like fall back on, and to not have to try so hard to think of what to say. So next week I will do a questions video. I'm setting a reminder in my calendar on Thursday to start posting on Instagram and Facebook for people to get their questions in, so I can have them by Friday night, so that when I go to record Saturday morning, I can just have everything pulled up and ready to go, knock this out in whatever amount of time it takes for me to answer all the questions, and just be done with it. So that's the plan for next week, and hopefully it works. Let me think, is there anything else that I need to cover? I think that's all my announcements / whatever. It only took me 8 minutes to get a coherent idea out there, but that's just me. So, what I decided for this week, sorry, I don't know, this is like, it's a grain of rice stuck to my table because I'm disgusting. Anyway, so what I decided for this week is that I wanted to tell a story about another time that I was sick. And I don't know why, this was just the first story that came to my mind when I was thinking about, okay, like, how many times have I been sick in my life? Quite a few. Not just from like sickness, but from, you know, drinking and other things, which I don't want to get into because I don't want to just gross everybody out week 3. However, one of the most memorable times that I was sick was after I got my tonsils taken out when I was in, it had to have been 12th grade, because I was auditioning for a college after I got my tonsils taken out. So, cut back to 2012 Cass. So this was the beginning of the year in 2012. I was getting ready to graduate high school, and I had applied to the college that I ended up going to, but hadn't heard back yet. And so I used to go every year to Eastern New Mexico University's Drama Fest, which if you weren't a theater nerd in New Mexico, you don't know, so I'll tell you. It was basically the mecca of all theater nerds to go to. There were plays, there were workshops, there were like, it was just a great nerdy time, and I was in love with it. So I went every year from when I was in 7th grade, I want to say, because my dad was the drama school sponsor, so he would drive the kids every year, and he said, you know what, You're a theater nerd, let's just take you on with us. So I went with them before I was even able to be in drama club. Then I was in drama club, I was the president, I picked the plays that we did, I ran rehearsals, I was that kid. So my last year, my dad was retired, and so he was not able to sponsor or lead, I guess, the people who wanted to go, and there was not enough interest in the group. I was one of maybe like 4 people who wanted to be in drama club, and so I kind of decided that I was like applying to colleges and working full-time and going to school and going to college, because you could do that when I was in high school and my high school paid for it, so I was getting ahead. So I didn't want to put the time into like not helping, because it makes me sound like an asshole. I didn't want to put my time and energy into leading an entire group. I was like, you know what, we're just going to sit this one out. I've got enough on my plate. I'm just going to go by myself. So what ended up happening was my mom, bless your heart, Kathy, she drove me all the way to Portales to go to this drama festival. And so she and I, we stayed in a hotel. She came with me to see all the plays I wanted to see. And a couple weeks before we went, I had gotten my tonsils taken out, which shouldn't be a very terrible operation. People get that done all the time and then they go back to school or to work. I, however, for a lot of surgeries that I've had, like it happened when my wisdom teeth got taken out, it happened with my tonsils, I just got so sick afterwards, and it was, hi Sasha, it was such a pain, much like this little lady who will not shut up and just let me do this. You leave me alone so much of the day, and then when I need to do something, that's when you bug. So this is Sasha. Say hello. And of course you freeze up on camera. I love you, sweetheart. Now go do something else. Go away. So my mom and I go, and there was an audition for a theater scholarship that I needed to go to. And the scholarship was, I believe, for like $1,000, and there were like 5 or 10 other seniors, and so you were supposed to go up, do your monologues, and that's how they decide who wins and whatever. So I like could barely speak. I had all but lost my voice. They were like, this is gonna get very graphic, and I'm sorry, trigger warning. There were like clots in my throat. I could hardly speak. I was like just hacking through it. And so luckily I didn't have to talk a whole lot, because I was not doing a performance, thank God, because I would have been the lead most likely and would have had to just like figure it out for the entire performance. But we were not doing a play. I just had to get through that audition. And so my mom went with me, and I don't think she was allowed in the room, but I went in, and it was me, the head of the theater department, and a couple other professors, I want to say. And so like a few people went before me, and then it was my turn to go up, and I was like, I'm just gonna preface this and let you know, I just got my tonsils taken out. I can barely speak, but I really want to do this, and I'm not gonna just not show up. So I'm sorry in advance, but this is who I am. Which I think was probably the best thing I could have done, because I'm sure they would have just been like, what the hell is happening? But I prefaced it and then got up there, did my thing. I did a serious monologue and a comedic monologue, and they laughed at the comedic one, but they were very gracious to me and said like, thank you so much for even coming up here today. Like, we understand you're basically on death's door and can barely talk, but you're still here because you want to go to the school. So I think for whatever reason, either I didn't want to stay or there was some other conflict that kept me from staying through the awards ceremony at the end, but I actually won that scholarship, and Eastern offered me $1,000 to go to their theater program and study there and go to that school. And then also, side note, I had a high enough ACT score that they would have paid my entire tuition and fees and then given me money to go to school there, because my scores were very high, and they really wanted me to go. And then a couple weeks later, I got the call from Emerson that I got in, so I said no to free schooling and whatever, and got myself $30,000 into debt. So the moral of the story is you can do what you love and it doesn't matter because you're still gonna go into debt anyway. Not really, but that's just what I did. And so I thought that would be a really good anecdote to share with you guys. So if you are catching this sickness that everyone is getting, we'll make it through it together. I promise. I'm feeling 1,000 times better. I could barely blow my nose without my eyes watering and just coughing, and I sounded like a 12-year-old boy for a couple days this week, but it does get better. And to anyone who's in that position where are getting to like graduation and like almost college time, just do what feels right, you know, because sometimes I look back on that story and think, man, I could have gone to school for free and then some, or like I'd be so much better off financially if I had just gone to school there. But I also would never have gone to Boston, and that is an experience that I would not give up for anything, because I love Boston. It's a beautiful city. The people I met there were amazing. It changed my entire life and perspective on everything. And so just do it. You know, a lot of people from my high school said that I couldn't, and I did. And it ended up making me a better person, and I would never ever want to trade that to be in a better spot now. So that's enough of me just gabbing away like a gal about the good old days. So I'm gonna actually eat this bagel, finish this coffee, pet my damn cat who won't leave me alone. There's one here. She's just so needy. So thank you guys for tuning in. Next week, questions for sure. I'm gonna go finish this and snuggle with my babies, and I'll see you guys next Saturday. Bye everyone. Ow.